I'm Paco, and you're watching Bad Witch Books. Today we're going to be doing 5 books I want to read before the end of the year. These are 5 books I'm very excited to be reading. I don't know when I'll be reading them. We do have 3 months left, so I'm going to try to read. I know like a couple when I'll be reading them. I don't know others. I will say November is a month that a friend is picking books for me to read, and I may suggest this video to her. But yeah, so I am making this video for that. So let's get to it. Also, real quick, rewind. I did do something similar to this earlier this year. I did 5 books that were 5-star anticipated releases. So I will actually go over those books real quick. I'm not going to pull those books up. I'll just like do a picture for those ones. But most of the books were all like pretty much 4.5 stars. I think one was a 5-star. And that was Thistlefoot, which was so freaking good. Thistlefoot followed the Yaga siblings. Be here. And their 2 siblings haven't talked much. They've been out of each other's lives for a while. And one day they get a letter saying that they've both inherited a house. And they go to see the house, and it has chicken feet. And then someone is mysteriously stalking them. And this story is so good. I highly recommend the audiobook. It is so good, and it's perfect for this time of the year, too. Like, it just so good. Next other book I read was This Is Why They Hate Us by Aaron C. Hedges. I believe his name is. My mind is blanking, but this is a young adult contemporary about a Mexican bi kid who he is trying to get over his crush on his best friend. And so his thought process is, what's the best way to get over someone is to get under a bunch of other guys. And so he tries to go after these 3 guys to see which one, like during the summer, to see which one is romantically like plausible. And there's trials and tribulations with it. There are very relatable struggles with the guys he goes after. And I felt it. It had a really good, healthy discussion on mental health. It had really good discussions on, like, the queer community, especially, like, when you are that age and just hormones and stuff like that. I really enjoyed it. Another, like, a 4.5 stars. The next one on this list was a complete surprise, Ruinous Fate. I, like, put it on this list because I was completely, like, unsure of it. It looked good, and I was excited to read it, and it was the first one I read of this list, and I really enjoyed it. I gave it like 4 stars. It was really good. It follows Kala, who is a witch on the run from her coven, and she is not in hiding, but kind of in hiding, and she is like rooming with a siren and another witch, and then she, like, there's these dice that witches have to roll to see if they, like, end up with fate. And you have to roll 6. And if you have the same number, you are, like, I guess, conscripted into this army or something. It's not really greatly defined on what happens. But she is, like, one thing away from it, and she doesn't want that to happen, so she's in hiding. And then one day, someone finds her, and she has to go in the forest to stop it. But it was really fun. I like the world building. There was Valkyries, sirens, and it was really great. I enjoyed it. So the next book on that list was Her Majesty's Royal Coven, which, bam, I really enjoyed. This was really good. I'm super excited to finish the series. I read both this and the sequel, and this follows a group of friends who, after a civil war in the witch community, because they are all like witches in the UK, and they are part of Her Majesty's Royal Coven. So after a civil war in the witch community, they're all in different places. Helena is the leader of the coven as High Priestess. Nima has left the coven, is now a veterinarian. Ella is a working mom, and she wants to focus on her family. Lonnie has left Her Majesty's Royal Coven and started her own coven, Diaspora, which focuses on black witches and intersectionality. And the 5th one is missing. There's something about the 5th one I don't want to get too much into. But one day there is a case where Helena finds a child that is prophesied to be the Sully child, which is this like progenitor of doom, and shit happens from there. This is really great. I really enjoyed it. I got Jen to read it, and I am excited for the 3rd book in the series. And the last book I read was a buddy read with Helen, and that was Venko. And I like Venko, Her Majesty's Royal Coven, This Is Why They Hate Us, and Ruinous Fate are all between 4 and 4.5. Thistlefoot is 5 stars. Like, it was just that good. But Venko follows Lucky St. James. She is an Indigenous woman from Canada who is struggling to take care of her grandmother and keep a job and, like, just live. And one day she finds a spoon, and once she finds the spoon, she is picked up by the Coven, who are looking for specific witches with the spoon so they can do a massive spell. And she has to then look for the 7th witch, because she's the 6th, and she only has like a week to do it, and also there is an immortal witch hunter after her. Really fun. I really enjoyed it. It took a minute to get into the world, but once I understood what was going on, I really loved this magic system and the way witches were talked about. So, highly recommend. Excited to read more by this author. So that is like a mini review of the 5 books that were the first part. This is the second part. I don't know if all these are going to be 5 stars. A lot of these are more anticipated releases that I haven't gotten to yet than like actual predicting 5 stars. I mean, we are hoping for the best, that these are 5 stars. But let's get to it. So I don't know when I'm reading this one, hint, hint. But that is going to be A Broken Blade by Melissa Blair. This is about Kira. She is the King's Blade and the most talented spy in the kingdom. And then she has to go somewhere. She has to go into a magical land of the Fae. But Faeland is not what it seems, and neither is the Shadows. Is the Shadow. But yeah, so I've heard really great things about this. It's a trilogy. It's by an Indigenous author. And I am really wanting to read this. It's fantasy romance. I love me some fantasy romance. But it says my body's made of scars. Some were done to me, but most I do to myself. I'm really excited to read this. It just sounds like my cup of tea, and this cover looks gorgeous. I'll probably be listening to the audiobook of this, though, because I don't read paperbacks. I'm a bougie bitch. 4 more books. So the next book is Foxglove King by Hannah Whittle. This is about our main character, like all books are, Lore. And I know that Lore has been on the run from this coven because Lore can do death magic, I believe. And she gets involved with the king or the prince, I believe, like get her to work for them. And she is just on the run from this coven. And she has to hide in court and stuff like that. Not coven, but this cult. And I've heard really good things about this. This cover is gorgeous. I want to read Hannah Whitton's other books too, like For the Wolf and For the Daughter. So I'm very excited to get this. I already have the sequel to this pre-ordered and I haven't even read the first book. So I need to read it, and I don't have a month I'm reading this in. So if you're listening and you are planning a reading month for me, maybe hook a bitch up. Next is a book by an author I love. I love me some Shannon Chakraborty. Chakraborty. I love the David Bott trilogy. It's one of my favorite trilogies of all time. And I will be hopefully reading The Adventures of Amina al-Sarafi. This follows Amina al-Sarafi. She was a pirate. I believe she is retired by the time the book starts. But she is tasked by the mother of a former crewman to help out something. I believe that, she has to save her former crewman's daughter. And she is, I guess, gotta get the gang back together. But I am really excited to read it. I love me some pirate energy, and this just looks amazing. I love this cover. I love al-Sarafi, and I believe this takes place in the same world as the David Bott trilogy, which, like, has my heart. So I am ready to read this. I will probably also be audio listening to this because I listened to the David Bott trilogy, and I like it when I listen to the same worlds. It makes me feel better. So that's 3. Okay. Next book is Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo. I do know when I'm reading this. I am reading this in October for my spooky month. But this follows Alex Stern after the events of Ninth House, who in Ninth House, Alex Stern is a person, she can see ghosts, and she works for one of Yale's secret societies as a member of the house that actually keeps track of the other secret societies. And there's mystery. It's really good. It's dark academia. It's magical, and I really enjoyed Ninth House, and so I'm very excited to read Hellbent. This one I'm hoping is 5 stars because I love me some Leigh Bardugo, especially like her newest book that got announced. It sounds amazing, but I love this energy. The last book is a book I did not see myself buying. It's not a book I did not see myself reading ever, But I read one of my favorite books of the year so far has been her Priority Orange Tree. I'm like read that back in March, and I'm still thinking about it to this day. And it's about to be October. But that is the book I'm going to be reading is Fallen Days of Night. I will be reading this in December because December, if you are new to my channel, is my sequel month where I read a bunch of sequels that are out that I haven't gotten to yet. And I'm going to be reading this big bitch because this is a big bitch. Look at that. I could like hurt someone with this. This Fallen Day Night takes place in the same world as Priority Orange Tree. I believe this book takes place 1,000 years before. I believe this book takes place, I have not done any research on it, but I believe it takes place in the timeline when the dragons, not the great evil dragon, but the other dragons show up. And I'm very excited to read this. I loved Priority Orange Tree. The world was so cool, the writing was great, the characters were fun. So I'm excited to get into this. I know this is a big old chonker, but I'm very excited to get into it. So those are the 5 books that I'm anticipating to read. What are you guys? What are 5 books you guys are anticipating to read? Give me some. I will link the original video for the first part where I talked before the books I talked about here. I will link that video to this. Those will have like the pictures of the books. That if I don't have them, they'll have the pictures of the books. But I will see y'all later. I post videos every Friday. I try to do vlogs Wednesday, and I try to do sprints Monday if I can. I haven't done sprints in a long time, but I'm going to try to do some very soon because I'm going on a week vacation from work because I need a mental break. But I will see y'all next time. Bye!